Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and another review. Today I'll be reviewing A Tiki Scare Is No Fair, which is the 6th episode of Season 2 of Scooby Where Are You? So yeah, let's get straight into the review.
Mr. Sims? Scooby! All gone! Everyone vanished!
So the episode opens up as we see this mysterious volcano, and we see Shaggy and Scooby with a bunch of Hawaiian natives. They're obviously on Hawaii, and they're there with Mr. Sims. They're taking a little holiday. They're at a luau. They're eating some food, and they're talking about their trip so far and what they've got planned for the rest of their trip with the gang. Then we hear some mysterious ghost drums, and then the whole island turns red, and then we see this mysterious looking witch doctor. And now the witch doctor says that everyone must leave the island, or he'll make everyone disappear. Now in the panic, Shaggy accidentally spills all his food on his head, and while he's doing that, everyone else disappears, including Scooby, Mr. Sims, and all the natives. And then we cut to the gang who are at the pineapple parlor, and inside we see Daphne and Fred obviously doing their famous dance. And Shaggy bursts in and explains that everyone disappeared at the luau. The witch doctor took everyone. So then they head back to the luau with the mystery machine, and Shaggy's got all the gang with him. Now the gang still think it's pretty weird how everyone just disappeared all in one go, and Shaggy missed it. Anyway, when they get out, they hear some mysterious ghost drum. They all hide behind the mystery machine, but the ghost drum comes around the other way. Shaggy spots it and warns the gang, and then the ghost drum reveals itself to be Scooby. And Shaggy's pretty happy and pretty grateful to see him. And now once they've decided to find... once they've found Scooby, they've decided to find Mr. Sims and all the natives. So they go and look at all the footprints. And yeah, it's quite clear that there was a bit of a scuffle, and then someone looked like they'd been dragged into the bushes. So the gang must think that Mr. Sims was taken by the witch doctor. Now Velma holds up this newspaper and says that there's this mysterious ghostly mysterious ghost town like around here. It's like a mysterious ghost village, and that's where she thinks the witch doctor's taken Mr. Sims. Shaggy and Scooby are looking for more clues, but they find this mysterious guy, and the mysterious guy quickly disappears, and that really spooks Scooby and Shaggy, who run back trying to warn Velma, Fred, and Daphne, and they're still looking for the haunted village, and thanks to Shaggy and Scooby accidentally knocking them a few millimeters barely, they managed to find the haunted village quite weirdly enough. They also find their Mano Tiki Tower, and he's just this mysterious big giant statue. But yeah, after a while walking around the village, they hear this weird noise coming from the bush. And they walk behind this wall, and then the witch doctor jumps them and chases them. They go hiding behind this weird shack, but Velma, Daphne, and Fred disappear on the other side of it, and Shaggy and Scooby are trapped on the outside. Now, the mysterious creature turned out to be a wild boar, and yeah, with babies, and it attacked Scooby and Shaggy. Obviously, Daphne, Fred, and Velma are still on the other side of the wall, so they decide that the only other way out must be to figure another way out inside of the little temple. Fred grabs a firelit flashlight to help them see better, and then Velma disappears down this chute, and Daphne and Fred missed it, and they don't know where she's gone. And then we cut back to Scooby and Shaggy, who are still running around looking for clues. And then we cut to Velma, and she's actually still stuck because she fell down that little chute. She actually went down to this little area and spots Mr. Sims' hat on the table. She hides inside the hay, and the witch doctor comes in, and he then gets duped, and she runs away. And then we cut back to Shaggy and Scooby, who are now resting after their long search for the gang. And they then wait at the Mano Tiki Tia statue, but the statue comes to life and chases after them. And Velma then pulls them out of sight and to safety. But then Scooby spots the witch doctor, and then they've got to run all over again. Then they run inside this mysterious, the same mysterious place where Velma was before, and they start barricading the door so the witch doctor can't get inside. But somehow the witch doctor ends up behind Shaggy, and they have to run away again. So they run out of the little temple, and they again look for Shaggy and Scooby. Fred and Daphne. They can't find him, so they eventually decide to dupe the witch doctor by pretending to be, I guess, like cave people. Scooby was pretending to be a chimp as well, which was quite funny. Anyway, they do eventually get away. Then we cut to Daphne and Fred, and they're inside the little shack. They come to this room with like a whole bunch of oysters and seafood with pearls in them, which is really, really creepy. And then we cut back to Shaggy, Velma, and Scooby, and they're still in the forest. Then Scooby spots this mysterious plane, look like it's crashed for years now, and Shaggy moves some bushes out the way and spots a skeleton inside the plane, and he starts talking, and Shaggy gets really, really scared, but the skeleton's actually mic'd up to a microphone, and the noises were recorded, and it was the tripwire hooked around Shaggy's foot that set off the skeleton. Now Shaggy tries to get the last laugh, but it backfires, and they get pretty scared. They run into Daphne and Fred, who have been by themselves for quite a while now, are pretty relieved to spot the rest of the gang. But then Mano Tiki Tia shows up. They follow some footprints, and those footprints lead to the mysterious guy from earlier. Now he's still rugged up in that purple-looking hood, and he swims down of the lake and down this secret entrance. The gang lose him, but they follow his wet footprints. And they follow his wet footprints up and out into the same temple. Then the witch doctor is there, and he shouts at the gang again in mysterious language and asks them to leave. And then the witch doctor and Mano Tiki Tia corner them, so they keep running from Mano Tiki Tia. They hide in some huts, and they split up again. They're just taking off, running really any which way. It doesn't really matter which way they run. They've just got to get away from Mano Tiki Tia and the witch doctor. Shaggy and Scooby then perform a little bit of a TV skit for the witch doctor, which was quite funny. That lasted a little while, and then eventually the witch doctor doesn't fall for it anymore and traps them inside a bunch of bushes. But Shaggy and Scooby come out submerged in leaves, and they look like a mysterious jungle creature, and the witch doctor gets really, really scared and runs away. Now, Shaggy and Scooby meet up with the rest of the gang, and the rest of the gang think it's pretty weird how the witch doctor can get so scared of a mysterious jungle creature. So they think they're going to scare him again. That's probably the best way to trap him. Shaggy and Scooby are going to be performing with ghost drums to lure the witch doctor over to a mirror. And Shaggy and Scooby then play some ghost drums. The witch doctor sees them and chases after them. Unfortunately for Shaggy and Scooby, though, a weird witch doctor mask lands on their face, and they think that they're the witch doctor. And that trap kind of backfires until they land on top of Mano Tiki Tia and block his eyesight so he can't see where he's going, and accidentally traps the witch doctor for the gang and plops him inside the trap. Now Fred unmasks the witch doctor, and the witch doctor turns out to be Mr. Sims, and then Velma and Daphne spot one of his henchmen inside the Mano Tiki Tia puppet. The Mano Tiki Tia puppet pretty much had wheels at the bottom, which allowed it to move, and yeah, was operated by his henchmen. Now, it was all just a scheme to steal all them rare pearls inside all them seafood, and they decided to scare off the villagers at Shaggy and Scooby's luau earlier, thinking that if they figured out the plan, they would never work, so they had to scare them all away. And no one would follow them to the haunted village, so that's where they set up their little scheme as well. Now, I thought it was a pretty good review anyway. Mr. Sims then gets taken away by the mysterious guy who's still dressed up in that purple hood. He tells the gang that he's like an investigator and he's been working on the case for quite some time, and takes the henchman and Mr. Sims away.
Now for the unmasking. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Sims? But what is a Mano Tiki Tia?
See, Shaggy, it's like a parade float operated by Mr. Sims' henchmen.
Now all the clues add up. Sims engineered this hoax. Their plan was to scare the fishing villagers away so they could poach their pearl beds. Right, Mr. Sims? I'm not talking. Then he'd come here to the haunted village because nobody would dare to follow ghosts. But he was at the luau with us.
No, it was his pal disguised as the witch doctor. What about the mysterious old man?
Perhaps I can answer that. Lieutenant Tamuro, Hawaii Police Department. I was on the trail of these pearl poachers for a long time. But thanks to you kids, and you too, Scooby-Doo, things got wrapped up in a hurry.
Oh well, we still have one more day of our vacation left.
And then later the next day, they're all celebrating. They're having another luau, having another party. Scooby's surfing and takes Shaggy's food. And yeah, that's the end of the episode. So I give this episode a 9 out of 10. I feel like I'm being pretty generous to it at the same time. I really like the Witch Doctor. He was a great villain. Mano Tiki Tia wasn't as good, but I think having him added to the spooky atmosphere in the big chase that happened, that occurred for like a couple minutes. I really enjoyed that chase. And yeah, it just had great intensity and really added to the episode. But apart from that, it was just going back and forth, switching between the gang, looking for each other really. Mostly during the middle of it. There were a few cool parts. I really enjoyed the skeleton and the plane. That was one of my favourite things of the episode. But I didn't really like how the only guy around was that purple guy in the hood. And he was just some old guy, and he revealed himself to be a young guy, which didn't really make sense either. They did go chasing after him as well in part of the episode, which didn't really make sense to me. And yeah, I feel like I'm being pretty generous to it. It could be lower, but yeah, I might have to fine-tune my ranking of it. 9 out of 10 is pretty generous for this episode. I really love the Witch Doctor. He's such a great villain though. But yeah, just the episode overall wasn't amazing. You know, the plot of stealing the pearls, you know, we've seen it before. Like, obviously this was the first time it was used, so you gotta respect that, but it's still not the best plot overall. Mr. Sims, I didn't really enjoy him that much either. I'm being quite negative towards this episode, so maybe I shouldn't give it a 9. Maybe an 8 is better. I'll give it an 8. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the review. Stay tuned for some more reviews coming out on the channel. Nearly done season 2 now, so yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week.
To have the last laugh. Hey, Skinny, do you know why the skeleton went to the library? To bone up on a few things? See? I got the last laugh!